All right, and I am back with cluster B personality disorders. All right, so these are normally dramatic, erratic, and emotional personality disorders. These are my favorite because I know people who seem to have some of these characteristics and traits about themselves. And it's so fun when you learn about these things and say, this reminds me of such and such. But anyway, so these are my favorite ones. Cluster B personality disorder. Um, they are antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, so first is antisocial personality disorder. And a lot of people, I guess, misconstrue what this one is because it sounds like antisocial, you don't want to be social, but this is not exactly what it sounds like, okay? So people who have antisocial personality disorder, they don't comply with social norms. Um, the things that they do, they engage in unacceptable social behaviors like stealing, lying, cheating, stealing from people that are close to them, their family, their friends. These people are very deceitful and manipulative, but they're charming. They do things in a charming way. So, I mean, they could be people that will break your heart, have you thinking that they like you when they really don't, for some kind of personal gain. They're only out for themselves. They don't have any empathy for anyone else. They don't have any remorse or regret for any of the behaviors they engage in. They don't have any sense of guilt. They're just all about self. Um, they're indifferent to people's feelings. They don't care. They just are out for number one. Um, Very glib and superficial, very cunning people, but they're charming. And, you could probably never tell by just talking to them because they're good talkers. They're slick talkers, and they're very cunning people and conniving, arrogant people. All these words are what come to mind when you think of someone with antisocial personality disorder. Um, they need stimulation. They need some action. They don't like to be bored. They have to have some kind of drama or something going on. Um, they may abuse substances, as a way of, I guess not being bored and being stimulated. Let's see if I left anything out. They feel invincible, like no one can conquer them, inconquerable. Um, they, um, let's see if I left anything out. They can be aggressive. They just have very grandiose personalities where they feel like, they're the most important thing in the world. And a lot of times serial killers have antisocial personality disorder, because I mean, if you think about some of the notorious serial killers, they're charming people. They do things, to get their victims in compromising and vulnerable positions. They manipulate, they charm to get you comfortable with them, and then they go and they kill you, and they use the same motive and means of doing so every single time. No regret, no remorse. They store their victims' body parts and stuff as trophies to remind them of, hey, this is something I did, and pat myself on the back every time I look at this person's head on the mantelpiece or whatever. Okay, so that's antisocial personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder. I have a person that I know who every time I think about and read about borderline personality disorder, I think about her because she fits this to the T. People with borderline personality disorder have very poor self-image. They have mood swings that are out of this world. They're very unstable emotionally. Their moods are unstable. They're very unpredictable. Um, they have a fear of abandonment. They need to be, I guess, needed. They need attention. So they may engage in self-harming behavior like cutting, burning themselves. They may be suicidal at times. They just cannot control their emotions. They could be very dramatic about something that most people wouldn't be dramatic about. Um, they can be so angry, and then that anger can turn into depression. Um, Very dysfunctional people, dysfunctional emotions. Like, I don't want to give any examples of this person, but it just fits this person I'm thinking of to a T. These people have difficulty with their identity. They struggle with their self-worth. Um, they may be chronically bored, so they have to have something always going, whether it's drama, just something. It just has to be something always going on for them. They could be restless. They engage in impulsive behaviors, just very unstable. They don't unstable. They don't have any stability in their lives, especially emotionally. It's just like ridiculous. Their moods are crazy. They could be fine at one point. You think, oh, okay, well, maybe this person isn't so bad after all. And then just like that, they're talking about you, stabbing you in your back, that kind of thing. They have to always have something going on. And they really fear abandonment. So they may need someone to depend on them so they can have someone around all the time. So that's borderline personality disorder. Next is histrionic personality disorder. I like this one because people with histrionic personality disorder are just dramatic. They're extra, very, very extra, overly dramatic. It's almost as if they're acting. They exaggerate their emotions. So, they could be, you know how you go to a funeral, say that you just started a job 6 months ago, you became very close with one of your coworkers, and their sibling passed away or something like that. You don't know the sibling, but you go to the funeral anyway to support your new coworker because a lot of your other coworkers are going for support. And so a person with histrionic personality disorder would go to the funeral and just sob and cry and boo-hoo as if they knew the person, but they didn't even know the person, let alone, like, they're overly dramatic. They would be the kind of person where, if you, let's say that you got a new job, you're excited, people are congratulating you, but they're like rolling the red carpet out for you, applause, like just doing the absolute most. They need attention. They can be self-centered and vain. A lot of times they're seductive in their behavior and their looks. They are very focused on their appearance. It's difficult for them to delay gratification. So they need immediate gratification. They need things right now. They need the best of the best. It reminds me of one of my clients I had when I was working at transitional housing facility for families that were homeless. We had a shelter, like a warehouse with donated items from the community. And I would take this woman in there, and she needed like hygiene items and things like that. So it's like a big shelf of just stuff. So I would just grab the first thing that I saw, and she would be like, oh no, Miss Ashley, can I have the Dove soap instead of this one? Or can I have the Clorox bleach instead of the Great Value brand? Like, she needed the best of the best. And she was very dramatic too. Like, she would come in the office and start crying about stuff, and I'm like, why are you crying? And it would be something so minor and small, that kind of thing. But they're very theatrical. They get mad when they're not praised. Again, I'm thinking of this lady. She needed to have constant praise about everything that she did, you know, no matter what it was. And they just need constant approval and reassurance that they're doing things right and getting things right. So that's histrionic personality disorder. Then you have narcissistic personality disorder. And we all know people who we say, oh, they're narcissistic, they're a narcissist. They only think about themselves. Same thing here. They exaggerate what they're capable of. They're very attention-seeking. They have an exaggerated self-worth. They have no compassion for others. They get depressed if they don't meet their own expectations of what they should be. They like to exploit others, very grandiose in their thoughts. Again, they need the best of the best. They need admiration. Reminds me of one of my friends. He is from Congo and proud of it, and he's African, and everything that he does since he's been over here, you know, he would leave. We lived in the same apartment complex. He would leave his door unlocked and walk across the street to the mall, and I'd be like, aren't you going to lock your door? And he'd be like, no, I'm African. Nobody's going to bother me. I'm African. I'm African. Like, he was just, you know, he could do anything in the world. Nothing was going to pull him down. Very arrogant. You know, his appearance is very neat. He may not have had narcissistic personality disorder, but he did display some of those traits. But anyway, so that's narcissistic personality disorder. That's cluster B, which are the dramatic, erratic, and emotional personality disorders. So if you have any questions, any comments, leave them in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe. If you need me to do any specific topics, let me know. The next video will be on cluster C personality disorders. All right, see you soon.